It's a Paris Chong Show. It's a Paris Chong Show, show. It's a Paris Chong Show. They're going to leave a crack in the door because they don't trust us in here, what we might
Where's
do.
the man? Oh, there's the surveillance camera. I know what we're doing. Okay.
Are you there, Zach? Okay.
Hi,
everybody. Welcome back to the Paris Chong Show. Today I have one of my best mates who I met in London at Mr. Chow in London on a crazy night where we did some naughty things and didn't eat our dinner. This is Sally Boyden. You may remember her from Young Talent Times. And she was kind of like the Britney Spears of Australia back in the day. Hi, Sally.
Hi, Paris. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm so glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here, sweetie.
Yeah. So Sally is an amazing singer-songwriter, and she was also on the Waltons and Lassie. So back in the day, she was quite the child star. And I know you had the one story you told me that your parents had left you here in Los Angeles to live at the Chateau Marmont.
No, I lived at the Beverly Hilton.
The Beverly Hilton. Okay, yeah. And by yourself when you were how old?
12.
That's crazy.
Well, it was crazy because my career was unusual in the sense that I wasn't from a show busy family. I got spotted at a football game, was on the TV show in Australia. And then I ended up getting the part in a movie in Australia, and that led to the producer bringing me here, and I got the part in the Waltons. And Mum, it was all just very like a bit of a shock. It's like, what do we do now? Because my mum was a model and my dad was a car salesman. So they weren't sort of pushing me. It was completely the opposite to that. So because I had a really nice agent, and because the studio would pick me up at sort of 6 or 7 in the morning, take me to work, they fed me, I had school, they'd take me home, I'd go upstairs, I had a room of my own. They'd stay for me for a couple of days, but they had 3 other children. So and I was pretty confident, even at 12. So they called me every night, and I'd sit and end up watching Johnny Carson at 12 when I had to be up at 6, but don't tell anybody that. They knew. And I was just really looked after, taken care of. So I wasn't sort of out roaming the streets. I'd get home from work, order room service, go to sleep.
Must have been fun for a kid.
It was fun, but also I took the work seriously because I wasn't really an actress. I was a singer and a dancer on telly bouncing around. So when I did one film in Australia, and I was 11 when I did that. And then I was 12 when I did the Waltons. That was actually a very good part. It was quite challenging. I had to cry, Paris, and I cried in the last scene.
It seems like it's easier and easier the older we get to cry, right?
Yeah. In those days, I didn't have much going on.
Yeah. So how long were you on the Waltons?
I was a double-parter, but it was a special one because it's a Christmas episode. So the Waltons' Christmas is a big deal. Their Thanksgiving and Christmas episodes are the ones that are... I still get royalty checks, and they always go up in January.
So were the Waltons as clean-cut kids as they seemed on TV? Because they seemed like a bunch of crazy country nerds.
No, very, very hip.
They were?
Very cool.
It wasn't like the Partridge Family where everybody was sleeping together, right?
No. I don't.
Yeah, because I think Mrs. Partridge was screwing
wasn't she?
David?
Keith. Yeah, she was.
What's his name?
No, because that was
David Cassidy. Oh, no, weren't they having an affair?
But that was his stepmother.
Oh, wait, am I thinking of some other show?
You're thinking of
another
something else.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
There was some drama on the Partridge Family.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of the Brady Bunch. It was Greg and Mrs. Brady were having an affair.
Yes.
That's what it was.
So.
And I think Marcia got down with somebody else. I'm sorry. I got to get up on my vintage TV shows. So,
and their affairs.
And they paid you well back in the day to do these shows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to what I got in Australia.
Didn't you buy your parents a home?
I bought the family a home when I was 14.
Jesus.
As you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I wish my son would have bought me a house when he was 14. I don't know if
there's still time.
I hope. I don't see that happening, though.
Oh.
Well, now, how did you get on Young Talent Times?
That is actually a great story. Again, normal family. I was a massive football fan for Australian football. Went to the game with my father, and there was a social club there, and my father knew the guy who hosted it. Johnny Young is his name. He was also the producer. So Dad knew him to say hello, but that's it. So I'm standing there watching the football, and John came up and was talking to Dad, and I think nothing of it. We won the game. I was in a great mood on the way home, and Dad said to me, he's driving. He just went, Sal, can you sing? And I said, no, but Mandy can. Mandy's my big sister. She's a beautiful singer. And I could dance, you see, but I didn't think I was a singer. I was just like, no, Mandy can. So the next thing I know, Dad said, "Oh, you're going for an audition for Young Talent Time." Now, Young Talent Time was a big show.
What is it equivalent to here?
Oh, God, American Idol.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it was on every Saturday night. It used to
Okay.
beat the football in the ratings.
Wow.
And Australia, it's just like America.
Right.
Football is a big deal. And so I'm like, Young Talent, and I knew the show, but I used to watch the football replays, so
Right.
I didn't really watch it, but I knew of it. Anyway, so I go for the audition, and I had to sing a song, and I sang Papa from Oliver. And I could sing in tune. I didn't have the strong voice that I have now that you know and love, Paris, but I could sing in tune.
Right.
But I could dance. And so I'm 7. They walked
Jesus,
out,
so
gave me
young.
the part on the spot. This was in November. And they said, well, you start in March. So I had what would be a normal summer, got back and then went back to school for a couple of weeks. And then the show started. Yeah, and we worked really hard though, Paris.
Right.
40 weeks a year. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night after school. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
How long
Thursday,
were you on
Friday.
it? How many years did you do?
Saturdays to the studio.
Oh.
Rehearsal days, live to air. I had one day off. And school.
Many years were you?
I was on there for 3 years. I
Wow.
left because I had an album out called The Littlest Australian, which became this massive hit. And there was a bit of drama, not from the kids. The kids were so proud of me. But some of the parents, the other kids would make little remarks. I was believe it or not, Paris, I was a
God.
very shy child.
I was too.
Were you?
I was.
There you go.
Mhm.
So I was very, when you see kids like razzmatazz. Razzmatazz
Those
types.
stage mom kids.
Yeah. I was the complete opposite. I was like just normal and kind of sweet. And that's my phone ringing. Oh my God.
Answer it.
Hi. So it is.
Oh, wait. Are you sure?
Oh, it is my phone ringing in the bag.
So Young Talent Times, so you were there
So
for 3
I'm
years.
there. And the other thing is, it just sounds petty now, but it meant something to the other kids.
Yeah.
Every kid had a solo every second week. And I didn't have a solo for 9 weeks. And my album was big. It was #1. And they kept pushing me back and pushing me back. And one particular night, I remember we were doing Chim Chim Cheree, from Chim Chimney, Chim
Yeah.
Chimney. Yep, we're doing that song. And I was right in the back. I walked through the green room and a couple of remarks from the parents. All the kids were great. And I walk in, I'm at the back, and one of the lighting men went, "Snotty little bitch."
Oh.
And then it was like 10 seconds. I stand in position and I look and I see the red light go on. And as it did, I went to myself, this is my last show. I am quitting tonight. And Mum and Dad came and picked me up because they had 3 other kids. They didn't always hang out.
Yeah.
All the other mothers pretty much were like always in the green
Yeah,
room.
stage
Yeah.
moms.
Whereas my parents were the opposite. And they'd come occasionally, but not every week.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I get in the car and I'm sitting in the back seat and they said, "How was it?" I said, "Oh, it's okay, but can you call John tomorrow? Tell him I'm not coming back because I quit."
And how old were you?
10.
Jesus.
Yep.
You're quitting jobs at 10.
Yep.
Most kids don't
And-
even get a job till 30.
And Mum said, "What's wrong?" And one thing my parents did, which was really cool, when I started, they said, "Now you're on television, but you're no better than anybody else. You're just doing a job and it's unusual." But we didn't really realise the effect it was going to have. I mean, I became an instant star overnight. Like from the Saturday night to the Sunday, it was front page news in the Sunday papers and stuff. We had
So
to change
were the kids mean at school? Because sometimes the
shocking.
child stars
Terrible.
get tortured at school.
Terrible. The first thing was Friday I had friends because I didn't tell anyone I was going to be on Talent
Right.
Time because I was shy. And it would all happen so fast. And
Yeah.
to me it was very fast. And went away on Saturday night, went to school Monday morning. No one spoke to me.
You're kidding.
No.
Jealous kids.
And then I did
Little
it.
brats.
And also I was working, so I could never go to parties. I could never go and play at someone's house after school because I went straight from school to rehearsal. But I loved the work, and the kids in the team became my friends. Funnily enough, I look back and some of them have said to me, who were nasty to me, because I've gone back to Australia intermittently, just not for very long, but I went back about 10 years ago for a couple of weeks and stuff when my sister had a baby. And they said they'd come and apologise to me. I'd be at a restaurant and this person, I'm like, she looks familiar. And it'd be someone saying, "I just wanted to apologise to you because I was
Oh.
really," but listen to this, Paris, you'll get this. They're like looking genuine. One of them was crying. I didn't know who she was. She said, "I was so horrible to you at school." And she's like really losing it. And I'm just like, what am I supposed to say? thank you or that's okay. I didn't.
F off.
I mean, no, but I didn't say that. I was just, well, there's no answer to that question. So anyway, the other thing is that I never got asked out by boys, ever.
Yikes.
Only girl who didn't go to the Australian equivalent of the prom, which was the high school dance.
Guys were intimidated to ask
Well,
you
that's
out,
what
or?
they told me. Again, I went back and I
Yeah.
had boys coming up going, oh, do you remember me? I'm like, yeah, I remember you.
Now, I remember when we met, we were 19 years old and we lived in London. And
As you do.
yeah, as we all do when we're 19. And you had told me that you had to leave Australia because you couldn't take it anymore
No,
because everyone
I
was
couldn't.
teased you and was so mean to me. Mean to you, like, I think it's like you go through a lot of stuff when you're a child star.
Well, what happened as well was that I had anorexia and one of the nurses sold the story. I'd already thought I want to go to London.
Right.
I had this thing about London. I thought Paris. Actually, I thought Paris because I could speak French in those days. I couldn't do. I mean, I'm okay now, but not like I was really
Yeah.
fluent. And then I thought London, no, because I love the fashion, I love the music, and I wanted to be a songwriter. In fact, interesting fact. I wrote my first song, Paris, when I was 4 in the bath, long before I was on television.
Wow.
We had a piano in the house and the radio was always on. And I was in the bath and I wrote this song. I could sing it to you. It's called Let Me Go.
Okay.
I won't sing
Let's
it.
I'm
not
sing
gonna
it.
sing
No, do it.
No, it's a bit weird for
I
a
insist.
4-year-old to write.
Do your 4-year-old self.
I that you don't really love me. I can't sing the rest because it's a bit too weird.
Oh, no.
I'll sing it to you later.
All right.
Watch this space. I'm never releasing it. I'll sing it to you later. It's a bit
Okay.
weird. But it's a good little song.
Yeah,
ran
I
out-
love your voice. Sally's an amazing
thank
songwriter, has a beautiful voice. And when I met you, you were in a band called Major Matt Mason.
I was, yes.
And then you were, I guess, what's really wild is Sally and I lost touch for many, many years. I don't want to age ourselves here right now, but I lost touch with her
can
for a
Google
long
me.
time.
I'm not using
and I did not know what happened to her after London. And I actually found her on MySpace because she had done some backing vocals for Duran Duran, which you have done many backing vocals for Duran. And that's how we reconnected. And I came to see you in New York when Leo was a baby.
Yeah, he was a baby.
So it was
He stayed with me.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so you were in Major Matt Mason. And then our next guest that we're going to be talking to, Andrew Rayer. Now, you were also in a band with him. And so when was that band?
That started 98
Okay.
and maybe 97, 98. And we were called the Candy Bombers, and Andrew was the musical director and lead guitarist and just
Wow.
fabulous.
Well, you know what he said about you?
What did he?
He said when she opens her mouth, gold comes out.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, when you did,
bless him.
we just wrote a little jingle for
yeah,
the
we
Paris
did.
Chong Show, and I
Well,
just
you
was like,
started
Sally,
it,
I need
darling.
help writing just a little jingle to go
But
to the
you
show.
wrote it.
I
You
did
wrote
write
it.
it. I
You
did
called
write
me.
it. And then she said, okay, I'm going to introduce you to Andrew. And then she came and did some backing vocals. And I mean, it really made the little jingle just having you on there. And he said, Sally's just amazing. When she opens her mouth, gold comes out.
Oh, bless him. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But so we had a great time. We played, we did the Edinburgh Festival. We played all over London, where one stage we were playing like 4 nights a week, Portobello,
Wow.
really cool venues. And then this is fantastic. I'm watching. Andrew didn't know the story till about 2 weeks ago. So I'm watching the news, and it's the Thursday before the Queen's Jubilee in 2002. And I'm watching the news. I think I was going to the studio, but it was about 10 in the morning, and they said at the BBC, and they're saying, oh, yes, they were talking about the Jubilee, and they said, yes, and there's different stages, the Canadian stage, the New Zealand stage, the Australasian stage. And they said, no, they were talking to the producer or something, and they said, well, actually, who's going to be on the Australasian stage? But we're actually looking for one more act for the Australasian stage. So I picked up the phone and I called the BBC. Andrew didn't know how we got the gig. He said, I was wondering how we got that gig because we headlined the Australasian stage.
That's cool.
And I called them up and I said, blah, 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 da, da. And they said, have you got any gigs coming up? And I said, actually, we do. We're playing the Notting Hill Arts Club tomorrow night. Now, at that point in time, the Notting Hill Arts Club was trendy.
Yeah.
As all, hallelujah, I swear.
Well, and
And so they came and saw us.
yeah.
We got the show on the spot. They said, right, be ready. I said, come, everyone meet at my house. We'd been playing a lot, like 3
Right.
weeks, 4 nights a week, so we were really on.
Yep.
So we didn't have another rehearsal. We just showed up at my house, Mercedes limos, and we weren't even that nervous because we knew what we were doing. And we got there, and we headlined. I've got some great pictures. I'll send them to you.
Oh.
And well, it's Hyde Park, so
Yeah.
as far as the eye can see, on the Glastonbury stage, massive
Right.
stage, and we didn't make a single mistake. And I said to everyone, I didn't have the big huddle. I never
Yeah.
did that because we knew what we were doing.
Right.
And we just all got together and I said, come on, guys, we know what we're doing. Let's just go out there and enjoy it. And it was a really good show.
I want to hear some of those tracks now.
Yeah.
And you recently, right before COVID, you were on your way to London and hadn't been for a while to work on some music with Adele. Wasn't that right?
Yes, Adele. And unfortunately, I couldn't do that. But she did record it. I've actually got a recording of her.
I would
doing
love
this
to
myself
hear.
for
Oh
her.
my
It's
God, I love
gorgeous.
that song.
I
Why
was in
did
the
what
studio for it.
happened? It's like
Well, she had her voice thing. So she came to LA and didn't sing for a while. And our paths kind of didn't meet up. And then she went in a kind of different direction,
the married direction.
a married direction. And then they write songs together.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so excited to hear
I
Adele
know.
sing your song. I
Well,
must
I
hear
can play
that.
to you. I've got it
Yeah,
at
I would
home.
love to hear that.
And she's a great girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I spent 2 days in the studio with her. And
That's
she's
awesome.
just so down to earth, fabulous person.
Wow.
And I mean, when she only did 3 takes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Which
lovely.
one? Which song did she sing
For the
again?
moment.
Oh, such a
Yeah.
good song.
You love
One
that
of
song.
my favorites.
I've got to tell you that I found about a week ago. Do you remember Calling America? Calling
Yeah.
America.
Yes, I do.
Don't question our difference or
Yeah.
answers apart. I found a letter. I don't know. I'm looking at the camera. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Hi. I found a letter that I've kept, and it's you writing to me in Oakley Street in London,
Uh-huh.
and you're in New York or something.
Okay.
And it's your beautiful writing as always, because you and I used to write to
I
each other
know
a
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point you put, and how's Calling America? Ooh, in your handwriting. I love that song. And I thought,
I want to
wow,
see that too.
I've got it.
I want to
I've
see
got
that
goosebumps.
too. So now what's going on with are you working on any music now?
I am working on music. I've been writing a lot. There's
Mm-hmm.
a couple of things going on. And actually I'm going to be starting to, Andrew and I are going to do some work. And I want to record some songs that I wrote in London because I was in London for a few years.
Yeah.
Wrote a lot over there. I always write a lot, but I'm a very good editor
Yeah.
because I write, you know me, I write fast.
Yeah.
And so I've written a whole bunch of songs in London that some of them are recorded, but some of them need recording that aren't done. So I've got to get onto that.
Yeah. Are you still with your publishing?
Yeah, Peer Music.
That's so
yeah,
great.
Yeah, they're great.
You're so good.
Well, thank you, sweetie. I know. I kind of know I am. I'm not confident
You're
about everything in my life,
amazing.
but
No,
I know I can write
I love
songs.
your music. You guys
I
have
can
to
write
you have to
songs.
Google Sally Boyden. She's a really interesting lady, and her voice is
Mostly,
incredible.
see, people when I tell, sorry.
You have a little bit of a Stevie Nicks sound to your
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah, well, she's a big influence. I
Yeah.
love her.
Oh, she's amazing, right?
Yeah. But what I do is I write fast, but I'm a good self-editor, so I'm doing that. And the other thing, Paris, which years in the making, is I'm writing my autobiography.
Oh, wow.
You're in it.
I am.
obviously.
I hope
You
some
have a
other
starring
people we
part.
can't talk about today are
Yes,
in it.
some of them are. But also,
Those are the juicy parts.
yeah, save it for the book. All the Duran stuff, and that's all great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a lot is about our friendship and my friend Amber, who you remember.
I remember
Yeah.
Amber.
Yeah. So it's not a kiss and tell. It's more about my unusual life because actually, when people meet me, especially here in Los Angeles, because in Australia everyone knows who I
Yeah.
am, which is why I don't live there. I know that sounds horrible, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'll getting back to the anorexia thing. I had anorexia. Someone leaked it to the press. This is interesting. And Dad said, "Oh, you're going to be on the news." And my family, we all pile into the news. And I was the first story on the news. Sally Boyden talks about recovering from anorexia because I'd just come out of hospital. And the second story, Paris, was I'm going to cry now, 6 people have died in Gaza Strip. And I walked out of the room and I walked down the hallway and I went, I'm getting out of this country. If I'm more important than 6 people who have died in Gaza Strip. And I booked my ticket the next day because I thought this is crazy. I was really upset. And that was from a nurse in the hospital I was in who leaked it.
I'm so sorry.
So anyway, it led to me meeting you. I mean, look, I got to
glad.
London. I got my publishing deal with EMI within about 8 weeks because I'd already been writing songs in Australia. And Cliff Richard's people wanted to manage me and they got me a meeting.
Cliff Richards.
Yeah.
Cliff Richards. Every time you go away. No, wait. Cliff
No,
Richards.
Cliff Richards,
Who's the Cliff? The Cliff.
No, Cliff
That seems-
Richard, he's
Who's the guy that sang that song
Why
every time?
every time you go away, you take a creeps with me.
Isn't his name Cliff something?
Chris Isaac? No, that's
No,
not
what
Chris
the
Isaac.
fuck is his name?
Sorry, Cliffs.
Sorry, Cliffy.
We'll think of it. We will.
The last time I saw him, he was cleaning windows at Aisha's birthday
Oh,
party.
no, that's not the same
Okay.
person. I know he thinks
His wife
we
was
can't name
Stacy.
him.
She
We
passed away
can't.
recently. Yeah, okay.
We can't
So,
name him.
no.
Not a good idea.
No.
But
No.
yeah, Stacey, the sad. She's went, yeah.
Okay. Anyways, we have happy stories.
So
too.
anyway, but I went in and I had to. Actually, Dave Ambrose was the A&R guy. He signed the Sex Pistols, signed Duran Duran, signed
Okay.
Queen. He was a big deal, but I didn't know he was.
Richards.
And I could play the piano.
Yeah.
I still can, obviously. And so he said, "Can you play a song for me?" And I played "Calling America." That's one of the songs I played.
Wow.
"Calling America," and the other one was a song called "Slow Dancing." And I left. And I remember Queen were in the reception room when I was waiting to go in. Queen were there. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and there's Queen all dolled up in their outfits. It was so exciting. And Lamal, do you remember Lamal?
No.
Yeah, he was around that time. The Howard Jones
Lamal?
time, yeah. He had one hit, big
Okay.
hit. Kaja
What-
Gugu. He was in Kaja
Oh, I
Gugu.
love Kaja
Yeah.
Gugu.
Nick produced Kaja Gugu. Nick
You're
discovered that. Nick
kidding.
Rhodes from Duran, yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, so I had an attorney, the Cliff Richard people who'd got me. They managed Olivia Newton-John as well.
Okay.
There's sort of that genre, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And they spotted me in Australia. I was doing The Sound of Music on stage and somehow they saw me and I was staying in the same hotel that he was or something. Anyway, so that was my in at EMI. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. I got a phone call. No answering machines in those days, no mobile phones, 84. And it was my attorney, who I think I'd met once. He said, "Oh, they've offered you a deal, a songwriting deal." And I was
love
like,
it.
"What? You're kidding me?" And I was in heaven because I didn't really ever want to be famous. First I arrived in London, Paris. It was one of the most amazing days of my life. I arrived
bet.
at 6 o'clock in the morning. I had a flat by 5 o'clock that day. I only knew the names Kensington and Knightsbridge. I asked a girl in a coffee shop, "What should I?" She get the Evening Standard, which is an evening paper in London, which it's not really there anymore. And I looked up and I saw Kensington Knightsbridge. I went, "Oh, Knightsbridge, that'll do." Got
You
to
had
the
a
place.
cute flat.
Oh, yeah. And I got the flat that day. But the next day, I went to bed. Next day, I just walked. It was right behind Harrods, which sounds very posh, but I just didn't. I wanted to be in a safe neighbourhood. And it was
Yeah.
actually like £100 a week, which, no, it's a long time ago, but it was within my budget.
Yeah.
And I was walking up the street on Brompton Road, and no one was pointing at me, laughing at me. I used to get spat at in the street.
Oh, God.
And I just was breathing like,
Felt free.
I felt I'm free. So that was wonderful. So then I started writing for EMI.
That's
And
amazing.
Leo Sayer did one of my songs. Shakin' Stevens did one of my songs. So that was great. And then
How come you didn't have more people like that doing your songs? You
Well,
had
what
so
happened
many
in those
songs.
days? Well, I was a bit precious.
Mm-hmm.
I have one regret. The Bangles, their second album that Eternal Flame was on, Naked December. You remember that song?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We had, you sing it
Yeah.
with me. Yeah.
They wanted it.
Yeah, they wanted it. And I was actually in a really bad relationship at that stage. You know the person I'm referring to. And I was trying to get out of that relationship. And he'd made me he wanted to go to be a songwriter. He couldn't write songs. And he used that song and got half the publishing. You know, this man was not very nice.
Oh, dear.
I was terrified of him, put it that way, in a nice way. And he threatened me that if I didn't let him have half the he got his publishing deal, which of course he'd never wrote.
Oh,
another
how could
song.
I not know that? He recorded that song.
No, he didn't. He just
Okay.
took half the publishing.
Oh, Jesus.
And then EMI, I said, "Do with it what you want." Well, Susanna Hoffs, the Bangles wanted it so bad that Susanna Hoffs sent me a telegram.
I love that song too.
And I I thought, I'm not having Stuart make money off my song. And I thought, I'll write other songs. Well, it was on the album that Eternal Flame was on. It would have been the second single.
Oh.
And about once a year I go, well, that was a bit of a shame. But you know what? My whole life would have been different
Yeah.
because I would have made a lot of money.
You're supposed to be doing what you're doing.
I know, I don't believe in regretting things like that
Yeah, you
because
can.
everything. I mean, I'm sitting here
Either
with you
way,
now.
I know. I
probably
love
wouldn't have met
this. I love this.
Do you know what I mean? I probably wouldn't have met you because it was before I met you. So if that had happened, I would have been swept up into Sally, have you got any more songs of the Bangles? And
Yeah.
it would have taken my life on a completely different path and I would not
Right.
be sitting here right now.
Well, I'm so glad that you are. Thank you so much. I think you're amazing and talented, and I love you. And I'm so glad that we've stayed friends all these years.
it's
I love you a
gorgeous, isn't
lot, and I want you guys all to Google Sally Boyden because she really is an incredible talent. And thank you so much for being here today, Sally.
Well, I would like to say to you, Paris, my darling, is that you have been just such a mainstay with everything that I've been through and everything that you've been through, and you're always there. We end up living in the same city again.
I always will be. And I hunted you down and found you.
You did. You found me. Weren't you asking
Thanks
Australian
to Duran
bands? Have you
Duran.
heard of Sally Boyden?
Yeah, anyone Australian I met. Do you know Sally Boyden? Oh, yeah, she was on Young Talent Times. I'm like, yeah, but you know her. And I found you. It took a long time, but
You
I
found
found
the
you.
chocolate starfish.
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
You know what you're telling me? I used to go and see them. They were
A band named Chocolate Starfish.
band.
That's how I found Sally Boyden again. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, darling.
for watching.
Pleasure to be here.
And keep signing up for the Paris Chong Show.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
girls.
I love you.
I love you.
Okay.